You know that look, right? When your child stares at a page of homework and they just deflate. That feeling of being completely overwhelmed before they even start. Well, today we're going to tackle that struggle. We're going to use an ancient story to create a super simple tool called the three focus arrows.
So let's meet Anya. She's 8 years old, and in front of her is this page of math homework. Now, to us, it might look pretty straightforward, but for her, seeing all 9 of those problems at once, it's like staring up at a giant mountain she's expected to climb.
And this is what she says: a noisy brain. I mean, how perfect is that? That's cognitive overload right there. She's not defeated by the math itself. She's defeated by the sheer volume of it all, just staring back at her. And this is what happens next. We've all been there. There's doodling, staring out the window, and the frustration just builds and builds, for her and for you. 20 minutes of pure struggle, for almost nothing to show for it. There has to be a better way. And you know what? There is, and it comes from a very, very old story.
To find our solution, we're going to jump back in time, way back, to a story about a great warrior named Arjuna when he was just a young boy. And his first big lesson? It wasn't about strength, it was all about focus. So the teacher, Drona, sets up this archery test. He tells each student to aim at a wooden bird way up in a tree and asks them, "What do you see?" The other kids, well, they describe the whole scene. "Oh, I see the bird and the tree and the leaves, the sky." But when it's Arjuna's turn, his answer is totally different. He says, "I see only the eye of the bird." And that's the whole secret right there. Arjuna chose to narrow his vision. He blocked out all the noise, the tree, the sky, everything else, and he poured all his energy into one single tiny point. That's the secret we're going to use. But here's where the story gets really interesting. You'd think the master of focus would have it all figured out, right? Well, years later, even Arjuna finds himself on a massive battlefield, and his mind feels completely overwhelmed, just like Anya's. He actually turns to his guide, Krishna, and he admits it. He says, "My mind is restless, it's turbulent, it's almost impossible to control." He feels scattered and confused, just like a little kid staring at a full page of homework.
And this is such a powerful thing for us, and especially for our kids to understand. Feeling overwhelmed isn't a sign that you're weak or that you're failing. Not at all. Even the greatest heroes have moments where it all just feels like too much. It's totally, completely human. Krishna's answer is the real key here. He doesn't yell, "Just focus harder." No. He offers this gentle path called Abhyasa. It just means steady, consistent practice. It's not about forcing your mind into submission. It's about gently guiding it back over and over again. Okay, so how do we mash these two ideas together? Young Arjuna's tiny target and Krishna's gentle practice. Well, we create a simple, hands-on tool that I call the three focus arrows. And it's something you can literally use tonight. The setup could not be easier. You just take the worksheet and you break it down visually. So instead of one giant mountain of 9 problems, you create 3 small hills of 3 problems each. Then you draw 3 big arrows down the side, each one pointing to one of these little groups. You're physically changing how your child sees the task. And here's how you explain it. You make it a game. You say, each arrow is a mission. Your only job right now is target 1. And when they finish it, they get the satisfaction of coloring in that arrow. It's this tiny, tangible win that gives them a little boost. It turns a long, boring marathon into 3 short, fun sprints. All right, so what does this actually look like when you're doing homework? Let's check back in with Anya. Right away, you can see something shift. By just focusing on that first target, the other 6 problems kind of just disappear. That noisy brain gets quiet. The task doesn't feel endless anymore. It feels doable. It feels safe. But of course, the mind is going to wander. That's what minds do, right? A bird flies past the window, they start thinking about Legos. This is that moment where Krishna's gentle practice comes in. So instead of saying, "Hey, pay attention," you can just gently ask, "Which arrow are you on?" See how different that feels? It's not a criticism. It's just a calm, simple prompt. It's an anchor that pulls their focus back without starting a power struggle. And this is where you tie it all back to that cool story. You can say something like, "Let's come back to the eye of the bird." That little phrase reminds them, your only job is this one tiny target, not the whole tree.
And before you know it, the work is done. But look what's left behind. It's not just a finished worksheet. It's a visual record of their success. 3 bright, colorful arrows that basically shout, "I did it!" 3 times. And listen to what Anya said afterwards. She actually felt the difference. That mental weight, that heaviness of the whole page, just lifted when she only had to think about a small part. She made the connection herself, right back to Arjuna's story.
And this really is the whole point of the 3 arrows. It's not just a homework hack. It's a huge life skill. It teaches a child that any giant, scary task can be broken down. They learn how to manage their own focus, one small target at a time.
So here's my challenge to you. Try the 3 arrows tonight. Grab that worksheet, draw those arrows, and just see what happens. I'd love for you to tell me in the comments if the page felt a little smaller and a little less noisy for your child.
This is Mindset with Gita.
Subscribe for more simple, Gita-powered tools like this one for kids, parents, and teachers. Thanks so much for watching.